last touches on training and that sort of thing? How's everybody looking?
Yeah, the guys trained pretty well today. I think there's been a lot of external distractions throughout the week, but the guys have had the mind on the job at hand, and it's been a pretty strong week on the track. So the guys trained well this morning, and that's all we can ask for. There's a lot of noise externally, but certainly the focus has been pretty calm inside.
How do you block that noise out?
Well, it's relatively easy in the fact that when you come into the club, it's all about another game of footy. It's not the focus on this could be our last game of the year. It's a prelim, all that kind of stuff. It's more about how we go about things, our preparation, and a normal week. The distraction comes when you're outside of the club and people are in your ear, or you have some thinking time, and that's where we revert to what we have for a long time and our normal mental preparation and trying to relax as much as we can because we know it's a big game.
Can you also feed off that in some way? I mean, this is the biggest week in the club's history, and there's purple everywhere around Freo. Can you actually grasp that energy?
Probably not. I think it's probably more of a distraction than it is, anything else. I mean, we love the fact that we are given an opportunity like this, but clearly, it being in your face 24/7 for some players, it can be a distraction more than a positive. So we recognise that, and we acknowledge that guys are going to have different feelings about it. So it's more about keeping things as status quo as we can.
What's been your advice to the younger guys who haven't been in this situation going on freely?
Don't look for anything new, really. Particularly since Ross and the new regime has been here, we've put in a lot of hard work and been focusing on some really core basics, and that's been a real strength of the group for a long time, to stay in the moment and not look for anything that's too magical or too spectacular. So that's been the main message.
In terms of having a week off, Ross has been in this situation a couple of times before. What's been his message to the playing group over this, how to approach the fortnight?
To train hard, to stay focused, stay in tune, not look too far ahead, worry about the next session, and it's all the things that sound boring but are really important at this stage.
Sydney are a more difficult opponent because they're not the Sydney that won the premiership last year. Their personnel just is continually changing. Does that make them more difficult tactically to play?
Probably not. I think the fundamentals remain the same the way they play. Certainly the personnel are a bit different, and there's a few younger players in there that we need to do a bit more research on just to understand exactly how they go about it. But they're a tremendous side. Their culture's really strong. They play a brand of football that is going to be really hard to beat. So the fundamentals remain the same regardless of the personnel changes.
Have you trained here this morning?
Yes. Yep.
Does that mean you've opted not to train at Patterson's this week?
Well, we've only trained at Patterson's, I think, a couple of times throughout the whole year. So we wanted to stick to our routine, stick to what we know, and we recover, lift, and have all our meetings, and then sort of in the afternoon our physio and massage and all those sort of things. So it would have been another distraction if it meant we'd trained up there. We play there enough, and the guys are mature enough to handle the fact that we're not training there. So yeah, it's not an issue.
Did Michael Johnson get through training this morning?
Yeah, he did. Yep.
So he's ready to play?
Match committee has to happen, and I don't have the privilege of being completely involved with that, but what I saw, he'll play.
What do you think of him getting an All-Australian honour?
Oh, it's tremendous for him. Yeah, really, really happy for him, given his story and his path to where he is now. Really rapt for him, but as I said to him straight away, and as he recognised, yeah, it's great, but move on to the team goals now, which are more important, obviously.
Were you surprised he was the only one, Pat, in that sense? Or is that a reflection of the way Fremantle has played all year? Really?
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of the way we go about our business. So it's certainly, play as a team and try to gel that way. But I think, any time you finish in the top four, you think that there might be another couple. But, clearly there's a lot of very good players that miss out on an All-Australian each year. And unfortunately, some of our guys were those players this year.
So do you appreciate this moment, being in the prelim more than, say, back in 2006, now that you're getting a little older?
Oh, I can't really remember that for 7 years ago. So I can't remember what I was thinking then. All I do know is that it's a great opportunity, and the guys are ready to take it on.
There's a lot of great players that have played regularly in prelims and grand finals. You've been a great player for 10, 12 years. Do you appreciate what you're on the verge of maybe achieving if you win on Saturday night?
Well, I think we recognise and acknowledge that it's a big moment for the club, and in those big moments, in those big games, there is heightened focus and anxiety and all those sort of things that come with it. So, do we appreciate the opportunity? Yeah, I think we do, but only time will tell. A couple of hours on Saturday night will show whether or not we do appreciate it and we do take that opportunity. It's really hard to, because when you're in the moment, it's so much about what's next and the next focus, and making sure you prepare all the time. You try not to at least focus on the bigger picture.
Do you have to speak to younger players at all about sort of how big an opportunity this is, and not to think that they're just going to come around every year?
No, again, it's not something that we talk about, because I think that external, bigger picture stuff just gets us clouded and thinking about the outcome too much. And what we need to focus on, and what we have for the last almost 2 weeks, is the next training session. Our preparation, both mentally and physically.
Is this the biggest game in the club's history? I know you've been to a prelim, but is this bigger because?
Well, look, that's hard. I mean, that's all subject. That's one person's opinion. So, I mean, what I do know is it's a great opportunity, and the guys are really ready for it.
This is the third finals campaign over the past 4 years for the club. How important is that previous finals experience?
Yeah, look, I think for the guys that started their career only 4 or 5 years ago, it's probably important just to handle the week and the external distractions and what it looks like. We've obviously played one home final, and at least the guys understand that external noise. So, but the game itself, you're still going to have to be hard at the ball. You're still going to have to use it well. You have to defend as a team. The fundamentals don't actually change that much. They're just highlighted a bit more because of the heightened focus on the game.
It's Matt Ball's 100th this week. How important a player is he for you guys?
Yeah, very important. Matty's actually a bit flat because he debuted in my 200th, played his 50th in my 250th. He's got his 100th now, and I haven't quite kept up my end of the bargain. But look, yeah, terrific player. Someone who you absolutely love running down the race with. He's going to give his all, and that's why he's in our leadership group and so well thought of within the 4 walls of the footy club.
Is the pressure that he and Chris May put together for you guys a real barometer for your team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly it's a really core aspect of how we play. Hayden Ballantyne, Michael Walters, our forward line group included those 2 guys, Chris May. When we're hunting the opposition and really pressuring their disposal out of the back line, we certainly know we're on, and we certainly know we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to score. So barometer, or however you want to term it, it's certainly a key aspect of our game.
There's a lot of people already writing off Sydney because of their injuries, the fact that they've had to
Who are?
just lots of pundits out there who are jumping on the.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're certainly not. I mean, I'm not sure who watched the game last Saturday night, but they were upwards of 10 goals up at one stage against Carlton. So we're certainly not writing them off. Reigning premiers, their culture's strong, got great leaders. They're going to be a very hard side to beat Saturday night, and we know they're going to go to the end. So we've prepared as best we can to make sure that come the 30-minute mark in the last quarter that we're there competing, because they're going to be red hot.
Do you admire them as much as any other club, what they've been able to do this year and lose players but still be there about?
Yeah.
Be so dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, you admire a lot of teams in the AFL, but certainly Sydney, their culture, their leaders, the way they go about their business, very much respect what they're about. And that's why, we're preparing ourselves for what we call footy war, because it's going to go to the end. They are, contested, big body players, and what they're about is exactly what we'd like to be about as well. So we understand how hard a game it's going to be.
So Pat, you see the similarities in both the on the field and culture as well?
Yeah, look, somewhat. I mean, we're modelling ourselves slightly differently, like everyone does, but clearly what they stand for and what they've been able to develop over a long period of time is, I think, what most teams try to aspire to. So huge amount of respect for what they do and how they go about their business.
How important is the right dual quality on both sides?
Yeah, very important. Both Mumford and Pike had stellar years and have continued on from their premiership last year, and obviously Aaron and Zach have come to hand in the last sort of half a dozen weeks, and we really believe that the 2 of those guys working extremely well together, both forward and in the ruck. So as always, the first use to the midfield, really important, and we understand that it's going to go a long way to win the game.
Who usually lines up on you?
Richards or Grundy. So obviously didn't play the game earlier this year at the SCG, and I think we played them round 2 the previous year, so it's been quite some time since I've run out against them, but it'll be one of the 2 key defenders.
Matt, just playing under a couple of different coaches in your time at the club, is there anything that's really stood out in terms of what Ross Lyon has brought to the club with his game plan?
Oh, it was pretty self-evident, I think, what Ross stands for and what as a group we've been able to develop previously, more recently, the way we defend and the way we use the ball. So we want to be top 4 defensively and offensively, and I think Ross and the coaching group, not only he, I think Ross is the best coach I've played under, but a lot probably goes unsaid about Mark Stone, Brett Kirk, Peter Sumich, Michael Pryor, the rest of the coaching group. They've done a power of work to get us to this position and give us an opportunity.
Brett Kirk hasn't been at the Swans for a while. Does he bring a little bit of extra knowledge still there?
Probably to a few of the individuals, but I think to the broader game plan, probably not. Both he and Mark have been away from the club now for a number of years, so the IP as such is probably gone, but the individuals they probably know quite well, and I'm sure they'll share the knowledge.
Do you enjoy the pressure of the big stage?
Yeah, I think everyone does. Yeah, I think it's emotional risk to be in that position, and I think what you'll see our guys on Saturday night is they'll leave everything out there. We may win, we may lose, but as long as we can look each other in the eye after the game and say, we gave our all, then we'll at least be able to move forward as a group. We want to win. That'd be the ideal result, and we'll be disappointed if we don't. But if you can look each other into the game and say, you know what, we gave our all, we'll be able to move forward, regardless of the pressure, regardless of the situation.